Awesome. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I can. So, welcome everybody. I'm going to take my mask off too, but I'm going to stay away. My name is Joe Shook. I'm the Dean of Advanced Technologies here at the campus. Hey, Jenna. And who was in class today?
Just a couple.
Yeah. So I was just going to ask, see kind of how that went. You know, we're in a new time. We're in a new situation here. We've got, you know, this is definitely, you know, historically not a norm for everyone. And you know, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for participating. Thank you so much for wearing your mask. I mean, it's a requirement. So I know this is definitely, you know, for some not comfortable and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's part of kind of what we're having to do. And you know, we want to protect you guys, and we want to, you know, we want to protect ourselves as well. So. But yeah, work-based learning. You know, we're going to start to go over that tonight, and you know, this is a great way, especially if you're wanting to get your foot in the door into your career that you're wanting to go into. So you know, this is a great way to earn credit for that, and also, you know, get paid for it as well, you know, from an employer. So yeah, so how this is going to go tonight, Brenda and I are going to, you know, kind of tag team this as we move forward. And, you know, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to stop us and ask questions. You know, there's no unintelligent question, of course. And, you know, we're here to help you understand and get you started. Okay? So.
And before we get started, within our workbook, I want us to take a little bit of time, and you guys can introduce yourself and tell what program you're in, so that everybody kind of knows. And if you know where you're going to be working, go ahead and tell us that. Let's start at the Brevard campus. Y'all tell us your name, your program of study, and if you know where you're working.
So I'm Nancy Schumann. I am in the horticulture program, and I will be working at Ingalls in the floral department.
Great, thank you.
I am Megan Legates. I am in the horticulture program as well, and I'm going to be working at Mountain Moss Nursery.
Awesome.
I am Amelia Douglas. I'm in the accounting program, and I will be working with a local nonprofit called Isaac Holmes Youth Shelter.
Great, thank you. Okay, now we're going to start over here. Let's just start over here.
Sheila Reno, Office Administration. I'm working with CAPS office in Polk County.
Thank you.
I'm Rayanne. I'm Business Administration, and I'm working at Carolina Hand and Sports Medicine.
Hi, I'm Kelly Burrell, Office Administration, and I'll be working at hospice.
Nice.
I'm Nikita Salbrate. I'm in computer programming. I'll be working at AlphaMed in Flat Rock.
You don't have a place yet. Okay.
My name is Corey Barton. My program is IT, and I'm working here on this campus's help desk.
Thank you, Corey.
I'm Shannon Kleinig, accounting, and I'm working at First Citizens Bank.
I'm Brianna Hall. I'm also in accounting, and I also work at First Citizens Bank.
My name is Hannah Dalton, and I'm in General Business Administration, and I'll be working at Fruit of the Spirit Orchard and Vineyard.
My name is Tracy Edwards, and I'll be working at Caesar's Palace, the Pump House, and Electric Beach, and as a business intern, and I'm in marketing.
Great.
I'm Jessica Bates. I'm in the Interpreter Education Program, the sign language, and I will be working with Access Interpreting.
And I'll come back to the instructors in a minute.
I'm Bradley Hale. I'm in Business Administration. I don't have a current occupation for this yet. I'm trying to do something in the brewing industry.
Okay, great.
I'm Justin Falston, and I'm in automotive. I'll be working at Charlie's Tire and Service.
Great.
My name's Blake. I'm in collision repair, and I work at Nashville Auto.
Great.
My name's Carson Miller. I'm in automotive technologies, and I'll be working at McGraw's Garage out in Amityville.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to our instructors and let you make sure you know who they are. They will be your faculty coordinators if you're in their program. And so let's start way back in the back with Jana.
Deanna Hosmer. I'm the accounting instructor and senior business program. I've had lots of you in class through the various programs, and I'll be helping the accounting interns.
All right, let's go back here.
My name is Kenneth Gardner. I'm an IT coordinator, faculty coordinator, and I'll be in IT and working with computer stuff, gaming programming, and also, what else am I doing?
I don't know, that's good.
Mostly IT things.
Anything I need him to do.
That's
No.
right.
All right, what are you guys?
Hi, I'm Jeff Levy. I'm a business instructor here at BlueRidge Community College, and see some of my students here. Very exciting.
And I'm Jason Kish, also a business instructor here at Business Program.
We have a new person that has joined us. So Amy, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Amy Singletary, and I'm the CTE coordinator, so I'll just help all of you and help them as well, having been involved in work-based learning at the high school level prior to this position.
Yeah, so I want to say Amy is very much a treasure that we have here. I don't want to embarrass her, but she is new to BlueRidge Community College, but she is not new to Henderson County and the school system. You know, she was a CTE marketing specialist at the high school level instructor, and you know, and then she went into
I was a career development coordinator, so I set up internships and job shadows for high school students.
So a lot of wealth on that side of it, and we're glad to have Amy here. So.
Vanessa, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, it's Mike in the building. I'm Vanessa Katz, Office Administration.
Yeah, great. So I don't know if y'all realize how fortunate you are to have the wonderful instructors that you do have here. You have here at BlueRidge, but they are amazing, and you've been very fortunate to have them in your program so far. And if you aren't near completion yet, you will still have wonderful instructors. So hope you know how fortunate you are. So what we're going to do is kind of go through our workbook and go through our Moodle site so that you understand what you're doing. And if you, as Joe said, if you have any questions whatsoever, please stop us and ask. As we go through some of these things. In your workbook, the very first page, if you'll go ahead and open it, you'll see a table of contents. So if you get lost and can't find what is that particular document I'm supposed to have, you can go back to here and look for it, okay? What you're going to be doing is you're going to be filling out different forms at different times throughout your work-based learning. You'll take a picture of it and upload it into Moodle. Okay, well, I'm sorry, My Courses.
My Courses.
To My Courses. In your course page for work-based learning. The next page is just an information page, and if you want to go ahead and start filling that in, you can. Just make sure you're paying attention to what we're saying too.
Right, and we would strongly encourage you to go ahead and have this piece of it filled out tonight. You know, so as much as you can, and some of the individuals that I'm working with directly, you know, with your employer's information and whatnot. And if you have a schedule, this kind of lets us know or helps us with, you know, what hours you're actually working, you know. So when we do, you know, we want to get in contact with your employer. We do come out for that site visit. You know, we're going to talk about that here just in a second, but we have an idea of, you know, what hours you're working and what times you're working. So the next page, it kind of explains a little bit about what work-based learning is and what the different levels of work-based learning are. The mission statement of work-based learning is connecting classroom learning with hands-on work experience, and that's exactly what we're doing here. You know, like I said, you're going in, you're working at your employer, and you're doing your own thing, and you're getting actually class credit for it as well. So we're going to explain a little bit about the breakdown and the dynamic of it here in just a few moments. But yeah, it's basically you're going to work in your profession that you're going to school for. So you're getting that actual hands-on piece that you know, we may not be able to simulate here in our program areas. So, you know, it's very, very valuable for that. And like I said, once again, you know, if you're new to this and, you know, you may be doing this for a semester, but, you know, you may have the possibility to get your foot in the door. If you enjoy, you know, you enjoy working there and they, you know, they like you as an employee, then, you know, we're going to start growth there. So, so basically, I'm not going to read all of this, you know. Prerequisites, enrolled in a curriculum program that offers work-based learning for academic credit, you know, that's pretty evident. You wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case. You have to maintain, or you must have a 2.0 minimum grade point average. That is an overall grade point average. So what is that? So a 2.0, what does that disseminate to as far as a letter grade? Does anybody know?
C.
A C, exactly. You have to have a C or higher. Must have completed 9 credit hours with 3 required and prescribed program study area. So most of the time when we have work-based learning, you're at your, you know, if you're, you know, trying to go after your associate's degree or whatnot, this usually comes the second year when you're in associate's degree. You know, we want you to have some understanding of your career going into this, you know, from coursework that you've taken prior to this. So that's kind of the important part here. Before we send you out into, you know, the community, you know, we want you to have a, you know, a pretty good understanding of, you know, kind of what those jobs are. And faculty recommendation. Code requisites. Students may be required to take a code requisite seminar along with the work-based learning work experience, that is a WBL 115. Okay, that is for some areas. And of course it has our mine and Brenda's contact information here at the college. So like I said, at any point in time, feel free. I know you're working with some instructors, you know, with coordinators and whatnot. Feel free to reach out to us. We are here for you. And, you know, like I said before, you know, we want you to be successful.
So if you'll turn to page 4, we are going to go through the course policies just so you make sure and understand those completely. Number 1, you might be enrolled in a course that's either a 1 credit, 2 credit, 3 credit, or 4 credit course. Most of you are in the 1 credit course, but there's a few of you in some of those others. I'm sure you know who you are, and that's fine. All of those courses are combined into this one My Course shell, though. So you're all going to be in this one course, okay, on My Courses. 2 work-based learning hours cannot be reported any earlier than after tonight. So you have to attend the orientation before you can start counting your work-based learning hours, okay? Each student will be enrolled only 1 work-based learning work assignment per semester, so you can't have multiple sites that you're doing for your work-based learning. Okay? Sometimes there's an exception with interpreter ed. It's a little bit difficult for them to find one place that they can actually do all of their work-based learning hours, but for most everyone else, you're in 1 site the whole time. Any changes in your work assignment, for instance, if something happens and you have to leave that place, or you change your MLOs. Now, MLOs are your measurable learning outcomes, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but if you change those during the semester, you must have prior approval by your faculty coordinator, and those are the people that we've introduced you to. For horticulture, your faculty coordinator is going to be Laura Baylor. If you're not familiar with Laura Baylor, you might want to write that down. She's the chair for science, math and science? Is that what Jan, is that her title?
Yeah, math and science.
Math and science, okay.
Brenda?
Yes.
Will Rose be mine?
Yes, Rose will be yours, yes. Work-based learning work hours previously completed will not count for credit if a student withdraws from this course. Let's say, for instance, you put in so many hours this semester, and for some reason you have to withdraw and you want to do work-based learning in the spring, you can't use the hours you used this semester for your spring hours. Okay. Students must complete and return all work-based learning assignments to the faculty coordinator or dean by the appropriate dates in order to receive full credit. So what you're going to be doing is filling out as I said before, filling out this book, you'll take a picture of it, you're gonna upload it to My Courses when that assignment comes due. And at the very end of the semester, we have to have the original workbook with all the original signatures. At the end of the semester, you'll turn it into your faculty coordinator. Okay? Current students will not be allowed to assume the role of workplace supervisor for other work-based learning students. So if you're a work-based learning student, you can't be the supervisor of somebody else who's a work-based learning. Do you understand that? Okay. In a work-based learning work experience, whether paid or unpaid, the student must exhibit appropriate work habits and, of course, to be professional at all times. That's our goal, and your goal, I know, because you want to keep this job or be able to get another job, and this can be a good reference for you or whatever the case might be. So you're going to have that good work ethic. Incompletes. So incomplete indicates failure to complete certain course requirements because of extenuating circumstances. Sometimes that happens and you can't help it. So all incompletes must be removed before the end of the succeeding term, or the incomplete automatically becomes a failure. That's kind of, if any of you have had incompletes before, that's kind of just the typical situation we have. The student's responsible for completing the requirements when an incomplete grade is issued. Incompletes will be counted as hours attempted and not earned for satisfactory academic progress and determining financial aid eligibility. And that comes right out of our catalog. So, attendance, please make sure that you follow all established deadlines for this course and are attending work as you agreed with your supervisor at work. Be successful in attendance at work and in your courses here in My Courses. You may be dropped for non-attendance if you do not complete the required number of hours or assignments needed to complete this course. Any questions about these policies before I move on? Everybody good with that? So on page 5, this is all the things that you're going to be turning in, and it just gives you a little checklist. So as you turn it in and you submit it onto My Courses, you can like check it off. Don't check it off till you've submitted into My Courses though. Okay?
So what I'm going to do real quick is we have a copy of your time log here that I'm going to hand out to everyone. This is a way, can everybody hear me? Usually people don't have a problem hearing me anyway. So this is where you're going to document your time as you go forward. So it's basically, it's laid out per week.
You want to have Amy pass those out for you?
Yeah, we can. And so you'll see, when you get it, you'll see some X's on there, okay? What does the X's mean, okay? So the X's mean, of course, dates that you can't put in time for because of where we're at in the calendar, okay? Most of this has to do with calendar. Some of it may have to do with, if we have, so yeah, it's, I would say holiday, but we don't have any holidays really. That's going to, well, you may have some holidays there.
The way the month falls.
Exactly. So I don't want to try to confuse you there. So basically, once you get a block done, like your monthly block, you would have your employer to initial it, and then of course at the end you would have your employer sign it. You and your employer both will sign it. Okay. So are we short? Do we need any more copies of that?
It is on My Courses, so you can go on to My Courses. Those of you in Brevard, I didn't send that over. So on My Courses, underneath this course homepage, at the very bottom, there is your workbook in case something happens, which won't happen, and the Fall 2020 timesheet too is there. So you can run it off if you need to.
And I will say this, and this is just kind of a housekeeping thing, okay? This is documentation that we have to maintain, for auditing purposes, okay? So I understand there are some professions that are cleaner than others, okay? You will be using this book for the rest of the semester, but please, you know, don't bring, you know, just take care of your book. You know, I mean, you know, you'll be documenting and putting things in there and writing things in there or something like that. But please, we need to make sure it's legible and it's, you know, it doesn't have like stuff spilled on it or dirty paw prints on it or anything like that.
Yeah, just wash your hands before you fill it out.
So anyway, evaluation procedures.
Joe.
Okay.
I have
Yes,
a quick
ma'am,
question.
sorry.
Where these X's are, you said those are the days that we can't do it.
Yes.
So,
It's just the way the calendar falls. That's
do we
why
have
it
to
is.
spread it out all the way through December, or can we knock it
No.
out in a couple months?
No.
Great question.
That is a good question. That is a good question. So once you're done with your time requirement, then you're done with this. Everything after that is somewhat of like a formality.
So you can do 40 hours or so a week if you want to?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're not constrained to what it is. And what I would say, if you're working those hours, you can technically finish this class early.
Okay.
Once you get all your objectives done and you have that hourly spot that you need or that hourly count that you need, whatever your credits allow, then you're pretty much done.
You just have to make sure that you've completed everything in my
Exactly.
courses. That's critical too, because that follows along with everything in your workbook.
You can put your hours done before you finish everything in there, right? Okay.
Right. Right. And like I said, you know, it's going to go kind of hand in hand. And Brenda and I, either one of us, if we get to that point, we'll talk about, you know, what that looks like in my courses. But realistically, you have some paperwork here at the first that you're going to, you know, need to get done and whatnot. You'll upload your time log every 2 weeks, and you'll have a couple of questions that you need to answer. There's not really any wrong answers to the questions. You just be honest. You know, we want to know about how your work-based learning sessions are going. You know, and another good thing about my courses is it kind of keeps you on a timeline. Okay. And that, you know, sometimes, you know, if you have a bunch to do and not so much in the center and then I have a lot to do at the end, you know, it kind of keeps you on track with everything. So, any other questions before I start going over this? Okay.
And Joe, I'll show this in here as you talk.
Great. And like I said, most of your resources here in the book, you actually have copies of it in my courses as well. Okay. There's only a few items in there that, you know, like the on-site visit and stuff like that, that you probably won't have that in there, because that would be one of your, you know, your coordinator going out and doing your on-site visit. And we'll get to that here in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. So evaluation procedures, student orientation, you're doing that tonight. And in fact, your little check sheet there, you can actually check that second box and put tonight's date in there. Okay. Job description and work-based learning agreement. Okay, we'll get to that here in a second and what that looks like.
It's on page 8.
Yep.
So you'll see it there.
And basically that's kind of like an understanding between you and us and your employer. Okay. And once we get to that part, you know, we'll talk about your responsibilities moving forward, our responsibilities moving forward, and also your employer's responsibilities moving forward. So MLOs, okay? You need to do 3 MLOs, so measurable learning outcomes. So that would be part of your job, and we usually strongly encourage you to do something, especially if you've been there for a while, something just a little bit more out of your comfort zone. Something that's going to help you learn more about that profession. So
on page 9, it gives you some examples of measurable learning outcomes.
Right.
Statements which clearly and precisely describe what you're going to intend to accomplish during your work experience. So there's sample measurable learning objectives there, and on page 10 is where you will record your measurable learning outcomes, or objectives, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
And if you have trouble coming up with some
Right.
ideas, your faculty coordinators can help you.
Exactly. And we'd be more than happy to share what that might look like, Midterm evaluation, of course, midterm will be at what point? Middle, 50%, so on and so forth, okay? So kind of what that would look like.
On page 11.
Yep, on page 11. That's kind of what it looks like. So if you're in work-based 111, which is 160 hours, that would be at around your 80-hour mark. Okay. So if you're in 2 sections of that, that would be at your 160-hour mark, and so on and so forth. Okay.
So in my courses, it gives you a due date of approximately October 5th. So everyone should be at midterm about October 5th. Okay.
Right. Thereabouts. Yep.
So 80 hours.
If you're in the 160.
In the 1 credit. If you're in the 111 course, that would be around 80 hours. On-site evaluation assessment. Okay. The on-site evaluation, that is when your coordinator will come out and, see where you work, talk to your employer. We have a brief sit down and we talk about, hey, how are things going? What are some things that you've seen so far? And, like I said, we usually will bring that paperwork with us.
It's actually in your workbook.
It is.
Pages 13, 14, and 15.
Right. So, and that's kind of pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions on that, we'll follow back through and answer those questions. So that is at the 75%. Okay, so if you're in a 111 course, that would be around 120 hours. Okay. Workplace supervisors evaluation. Okay, that is going to take place at the end when you've completed your hours. Okay, whatever that might look like. So if you finish early, if you're working 40 hours a week and you have 160 hours that you need to complete, you're probably going to finish that pretty early. Okay, so once you meet those hour requirements plus your MLO requirements, okay, then that is when they're going to actually do an evaluation of you as an employee.
Which is on page 16 and 17.
Which is on page 16 and 17. Yes, they are going to rate you. Now, what does that mean for you as a student? That means that evaluation that they do on you is 60% of this grade. 60%. We only, as coordinators and as the college here, we're only going to give you 40% of your grade. And we'll talk about what that looks like as a breakdown when we get to the next page. But your employer is going to give you the majority of your grade. So that will be reflected of your final grade, of course. Okay. Once that takes place, you're going to fill out a student self-evaluation. How things went, how things that, as far as over the time, over the semester, over, your time working there, how did things go? What things did you like? What things didn't you like? What things do you think that you can improve on? So on and so forth, Those are the kind of things that you're going to look at. So page
18 and 19.
18 and 19, okay? So once that is done and your timesheet is all filled out and all the signatures and everything's done there, then you will meet with your coordinator, or, for my case, the ones that I have under me who will be meeting with me as dean. And then we'll see, we'll make sure all your paperwork's there. We'll have kind of like a summation of the semester, how everything went. And, we'll talk about it, and that's pretty much it.
So page 7, it kind of gives that breakdown. So your attendance, your total hours worked, and the assessment that your supervisor gives you as far as attendance, that's 5% of your grade. Your on-site evaluation assessment is 5%. Midterm evaluation is 5%. MLO assessment is 10%. Your employer evaluations of the student assessment, as Joe said, is 60% of your grade. So it's very heavy on how well you do on the site, on your work site. And then your student self-evaluation is 5%, and then the faculty coordinator or dean assessment is worth 10% of your grade. Okay?
So I will say, you know, as far as my, you know, from where I'm coming from, that final 10%, you know, we'll go back and look and see if you've maintained your timeline, your due dates, that you went in and filled in everything correctly, and you've done your due diligence moving forward. And that, a lot of that's where that grade comes from.
Okay, so I'm going to walk through my courses because we pretty much told you where everything was in the workbook. So really quick, we're just going to walk through my courses so you can see what's in here. But before we do, one thing that's crucial about anything in your workbook or anything on your timesheet is you cannot use whiteout. If you make a mistake for any reason, you just cross it out, write what it should be, and initial it.
A single strike through.
Not scribble it out, not a bunch of mark out. It's just one strike through, initial it with your change.
Yes.
Do not, again, I repeat, do not use whiteout. That is an audit exception and we'll get dinged for it. And you'll have to just redo it all. In fact, I had a student last semester have to redo all of her timesheet because she used whiteout on it.
Can't use pencil?
Pencil? You can, but you need to make, well, actually, I guess you could use pencil, but then with your original, I would hate for something to smudge in and not be able to be legible in pencil. So.
Usually blue or black pen is preferred.
Okay, so in my courses, the very first part where it says getting started is your syllabus confirmation quiz. So in the course home is your syllabus. It's right here. But what we're doing tonight, we're basically going over your syllabus. Okay? So tonight, you can go ahead and get this done because it's due on Monday. Okay? The second section are your timesheets. And as Joe said, this is due every 2 weeks. Now your first one is August 31st, so that's only like a week and a half away, but they're always on a Monday. Okay, so they're always doing, everything in here is always due on a Monday. And then you'll do a self-reflection along with your timesheet. You're just gonna, there's some questions in there you'll just answer about your job and how things are going, okay? And so as you see, there's dates for all of these. Now, question was, what if I finish before these dates? Well, then you won't have to worry about the rest of them. You've completed your hours by submitting your timesheet in each of those. The only thing I would like is a reflection on each of those other ones because there's specific things about professionalism that we would like for you to go ahead and finish and answer those questions about professionalism. Okay?
On the other spectrum, or people A don't have their workplace yet, or B, at their workplace they don't have their actual learning set up yet, or what they're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
What would we be recording?
As far as your timesheet?
Yeah, I mean, like, would you just be putting 0 and then with
when
the
you start, then you would actually start. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't start your hours until you actually start your job. Yeah. Module 1 is, these are due August 31st, all of these. So these are things in your workbook. Again, fill it out, take a picture of it, upload it to the section, the assignment area. So your work-based learning information form that you're filling out right now tonight, that very first form, go ahead and upload it when you get it done. Take a picture of it and upload it. Work-based learning agreement form, which is that form that several people have to sign it. So tonight I would suggest you go ahead and get your coordinator's signature on that. Yeah, so you have the student signature under the student responsibilities. This is page 8. You have the employment supervisor signature there. So you have to get that from your supervisor at work. And then the faculty coordinator and dean signatures are down at the bottom. So I would go ahead and get those signatures tonight. So you have that part done while they're here. Sorry guys over there for Bard. You can just go ahead and upload it and then they can sign it once you've uploaded it. But student signature and supervisors from work has to be signed before you upload it. if you can't get a hold of your faculty coordinator and dean by then.
And please, let me emphasize that. If you're uploading a document that is requiring of those signatures, please make sure if it's something that you and your employer has to sign, and realistically, I mean, we would rather have, our signatures on it as well, if that's possible, before you upload it. Okay? But at least have your signature and your supervisor signature on it before you upload it.
Can you take a picture of this and like send it to you guys and then scan it back in or something and send it that way?
Yeah, what you'll do is you'll make sure you sign it and your supervisor sign it, take a picture of it or scan it, either one, and upload it to the course.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of it from there.
She has to do most of her signing by email. That's how she.
Oh, so you're saying your supervisor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I communicate. She's not far from, because I do my stuff from home.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to.
Yeah, she can definitely, you send it to her, she sign it, scan it back to you,
All right,
that's
so
fine.
she'll send it
And then
in
you
an
would
email.
upload it to this.
Yep.
Okay.
And then that's the work-based learning agreement. Then you have to have a job description. That's one thing that's not in the book is your job description. I've got comments here. Okay, Vanessa?
So with Sheila's question, if anybody else is like that, your supervisor's signature won't be in your book, but sometime between now and the end of the semester, we can get with them and just have them sign in the book all the places that they need to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least for now, we would have it
I
in
think
your
she signed
courses,
it.
but they would need to sign the physical book.
Yeah.
At the end, they can just go in and fill them all out.
Okay. I think she's already sent it in an email anyway when we talked about it earlier. So.
Yeah, but for her signatures.
Okay.
Okay. Ken? Oh, you were helping me. Thank you. All right, so you need a job description. So it has to be on the letterhead of the place where you're employed at. Or if it can't be on the letterhead, then your supervisor has to sign it, the job description. Okay?
We would like either way your supervisor to sign it. But yeah, I mean, if it's something, if they don't have company letterhead or anything like that, or if they don't, that's stating the name of the business and, the address and the contact information and so on and so forth, or their logo, then they can type something up and they definitely have to sign it. I would have them, type their name out and then their title on that.
And when you click on the assignment, it gives you those instructions as well.
Yep.
Okay? And the last thing that's due on August 31st is your work-based learning MLOs from page 10. Those measurable learning objectives.
So you can talk to us about that, what that might look like. We definitely would like for you to sit down with your supervisor and kind of hash that out. What could this look like? These are some examples that, what we could use. What would be most fitting for me? You can have that conversation with your supervisor. And what is in the realm of what I can do and get done over the semester. So.
And it has to do with your program of study.
Exactly.
Okay, the next module is your 50% of work hours, that midterm that's on page 11 and 12. So making sure that gets in there by October 5th, usually around that time. Module 3 is by 75% of your work hours, and it's that on-site visit appointment. Basically, this is a questionnaire. You schedule with your faculty supervisor when they're going to come out to visit you at your work site. And this is a questionnaire that says, yes, I have scheduled my appointment with my faculty supervisor. Okay. And then module 4 is when 100% of your work is done, and this is where you have a bunch of stuff to upload, so don't forget to do that. Your final timesheet and final self-reflection goes here. When you have all your hours completed, then you submit your final timesheet and your final reflection here. Your on-site evaluation, which is work week 13 and 15, and usually your supervisor, your faculty coordinator will have this page. And so this is just where the grade will go, okay? Pages 16 and 17 is that supervisor's evaluation, and the supervisor can fill it out in your book, and then you take a picture of it and submit it.
Please make sure that you keep track of your signatures. I know we've said that before, but that's just something that you need to be aware of.
And then your final self-evaluation in pages 18 and 19. And then your faculty coordinator or dean will put in their assessment of you here. So it just has that placeholder for that grade there. Okay? And so all of this is due by December 14th. The end of the semester is December 16th. You need to have this in the Monday before that, and you need to turn in your physical book to your faculty coordinator with everything completed.
Like we said, once again, you can actually finish everything early, but that's the latest you can finish it.
Exactly. Any questions from students at this point? Yes.
My question is, if we have like a day planned to work, if something come up and we couldn't make it, would we let the people there know and you, or just them?
I would let your faculty coordinator know just in case it was about a time they were going to pop in and see you, but I would also make sure your supervisor is well informed ahead of time too, at that point. That's a great question. Any other questions? Are you excited about going and doing your work-based learning? Yay!
We have any questions at Transylvania?
They look like happy campers. Thank you.
Thumbs up. We like it. We like it.
Okay, now I'd like to ask the faculty coordinators to say a few words about the experiences they have had with work-based learning and the benefits and any tips they can give you. All right, I'm gonna let them think about that for a minute. Who wants to start? Janet. It's already up. She's ready.
I want to put my mask down.
she's going to the front so she can take her mask down.
No, here. Can't breathe. One of my best stories is I had an accounting student come in and tell me, brand new advisee, that she wanted to work outside. And I had a conversation with that student about, I don't know about accounting. I can't think of a lot of accounting jobs that are outside. And Stephanie blazed her way into the cradle of forestry for a work-based learning experience. And she did it 6 months before the accounting full-time person retired. So she ended up blazing her trail all the way to the cradle of forestry through her work-based learning. And that's been one of the best experiences for accounting students.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. All right. All right, Jack.
Yeah, I've got two stories. One is we had a student who went to work for a local marketing company, and it went so well that they are looking to hire a second story. So that's fantastic. Second story is we had a student, to one of the questions we had earlier, last semester who burned through her hours halfway through the semester. We finished all the paperwork. Halfway through the semester, she was done. So that is a possibility. And I went and met with the employer. We did all the paperwork, and we were done. So if you can burn through those hours, do it.
Ben, you always have good experiences.
My favorite story is the fact that every single time I've gone to work with the supervisors for a work-based learning school, 100%, they have been so proud of you all, and they have been bragging. And I get comments like, this is restoring my faith in the next generation kind of stuff. That I look forward to going out and meeting the supervisors. I mean, you're all great, don't get me wrong. But your supervisors love having you and really appreciate you all. And to a person, we get rave reviews, and it's really cool to be a part of this process. You're doing a great job. Just go and do. It's pretty cool. My favorite story is a biology student that wanted to become a business student. Didn't have the business classes just yet, was just getting into it, but wanted to go and take a serious business career path change and went to work for a big firm. They hired him when he finished his work-based learning experience, and he went on to have a career in industry in a way that he couldn't have gotten without that work-based learning student. That was me, so it's kind of a fun story to tell. And it really does work. Where a lot of times these turn into jobs that become jobs that are amazing. So we think this is one of our favorite programs. We think this is a great opportunity, and we love working with you on it. So don't hesitate to reach out. We're kind of the faculty coordinators are kind of more the hands-on because these guys can't absorb all the questions and all. Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions, because we really do enjoy doing this, and we love watching progress and process and the end result.
Vanessa. I'm up here too.
Oh, I hate this thing. Okay. So I went through this program way back in the early 2000s as a work-based learning student. And I did my work-based learning at my employer. And I don't know how many of you are going to do that. But for me, it was a really good way to get a promotion because I wanted to move up within the company. And so it was a really good way to try something that I had not done and prove that I could do it. I've heard Ben say several times, this is the best job interview you're ever going to have. So it's a really good way to prove yourself to an employer, to keep you, to promote you, or to hire you. And we have had some really good success stories. So just stick with it.
Amy, you have anything to say?
I'm gonna take my mask off and come down. I am a newbie at BlueRidge, but haven't experienced this for my whole career because before I did internships, I did marketing co-op in the high school. Probably the most important thing is my favorite phrase that was part of my teaching. Communication is your key to success. Communicate, communicate, communicate with your employer, your supervisor, with your coordinators, with your deans. Look me up, ask me questions. I mean, I might not have the best answer, but I encourage you to communicate. That is so critical.
Yeah. Ken?
So just to dovetail on what she was saying, communication is extremely important, but this is also a tryout for you. So if you've heard the term networking, see if you can't reach out within the company of whatever you're doing, whether it be body repair or IT, start looking at the people around and aspire to find a mentor or somebody that can help you teach you what you're doing. And don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions or you need to develop a resume or anything like that.
Yeah, perfect. I'm telling you, you've got the expertise in this room to help you. They're amazing. So take advantage of that, but also take advantage of your opportunity at your work to do the best that you can. Put your best foot forward. You're not only representing you yourself, you're representing BlueRidge, and we're proud of you and we're proud of BlueRidge. So we know you're going to go out there and do a great job. So we're excited for you and glad that you're a part of this program. Any questions? Comments? Yes.
Is there a minimum amount of hours that we need to complete weekly?
So if you want to try and stay on track and make sure you get done,
right,
my suggestion is 15 hours a week, okay, right? So normally a semester is 16 weeks, but what if you get sick? What if you have to go out for some reason? Plan on 15 hours a week.
At least.
Yes, to get it done in time. Okay. If you're the one at Work-Based Learning 111 with 160 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any questions from Brevard?
Brendan, if I can, for clarification on that. If you're doing the current job and you're adding some work-based learning objectives to your current job, you get to count all the hours that you work at that job. It's not just the hours that you put towards those learning hours. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, I'm doing my job and then I have to do this. It's your job.
Right.
And we add all those hours up, so it's not any more than what you truly do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ben, for clarifying.
Yeah. And again, as you get into it and you're starting to go, oh, I meant to ask, you know, we're just an email or a phone call away. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will respond within 24 hours, except on the holidays and weekends.
All right, that is it for tonight. Are you good? Hey, we are done early.
Yep, but make sure you get your signatures done this evening
Yes,
while you
and-
have a captive audience.
Yep, yep. And Kimberly, Akia, and Bradley, I need